Did you know there's an ancient wall decorative technique that was made popular in Italy in the 15th and 16th century, which translates beautifully into glass painted work? That technique is called the Sgraffito technique. Now, Sgraffito basically means to scratch away a top layer to reveal another coloured layer underneath, and it was often used in wet plaster to create beautiful decorative techniques. You also see it in a lot of African art, and it translates fantastically into glass art too. So today I'm going to show you how to make that Sgraffito technique work in glass. By the way, if you liked today's video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help us get this information out to as many fellow creatives as possible. And if you want to do an in-person course with me, a deep dive on master glass painting techniques, I run them here at my studio. And again, I'll leave links below this video for the latest dates announced. So let's get into how to make Sgraffito glass painting work for you. So we start with a blank piece of glass. I've cleaned it already. I've made up some pigment, some black paint. This is tracing black paint again, with a little bit of gum arabic in it. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave a fairly dense pigmented layer. The thing is, you want to try and get it as black as you can without it being so thick that you can't then begin to remove the pigment again. Getting it dark enough straight off the bat is what you want to get. So let's just apply a little bit of paint to this, and I'm making it relatively thick and relatively dense, and we're applying it over the whole surface. Now you can see here that it's still quite translucent at this point, so I'm just loading the paint. There's quite a lot of gum arabic in this as well, because I want it to be fairly well stuck down to the surface of the glass. I don't want it to be too much of a, when it dries out from the water, when the water is evaporated and it dries back out, I don't want it to return directly to powder and come off the glass too easily, because you're going to be working on this over a period of time. You want the paint to be really quite well set onto the glass. So there, it's really quite a dense pigment here. So using our badger brush, we just carefully badger the whole area as evenly as we can, looking for signs of any light that's kind of revealing itself. You want to try and darken it down as much as you can. And what can happen is the paint can ride up from the edges of the glass, and you can find you can get clear bits around the outside as the paint almost shrinks back in on itself. So you've just got to make sure that you've covered the glass as well as you can. That's pretty good. I might just apply another little layer of paint to this to just really ensure that it's really dense and dark before badgering it one more time, and then I'll let it dry. So there we go. Good layer of paint on this, nice and dense. And we'll come back to this once this is dried. So I've assembled a variety of different scratching tools. Obviously we have things like our porcupine quills, but I created this little device, which is basically an old brush, and I've just put a little needle into the end of it, and I use this a lot. I also sharpen the back end of a lot of my brushes as well, and you can create chiseled edges so that you can create more almost quill pen effects, where if you're using a chiseled edge, and you can shape it, you can put little notches in it. So the back end of a brush is also as important as the front end. It's such a lovely technique, and it's easy to understand the principles of it. And it really just takes a little bit of practice. Well, it takes quite a lot of practice really, because you're drawing in negative. It's a little bit of a superpower, because the effects you get are so spectacularly interesting, and they work really well as the centerpiece of a stained glass design, whether it's a freestanding artwork piece or it's part of an integrated larger piece, perhaps for a front door panel or for a hanging that you can put in your window area. And if you're starting out painting for the first time, using the Sgraffito technique is really, I think you're going to get a lot of fun using it. One of the things you will find when you're working with the Sgraffito technique is you have to do quite a lot of planning. You have to know what you're going to draw onto the glass, because basically every time you scratch into it, you're removing the paint, and so you have to be quite determined and quite deliberate about your painting work. I'm doing it freestyle, as you can see here, because I'm sort of working on a drawing that's just slightly off camera, and I'm using that as my inspiration. Planning your design before you start scratching it out is going to be really important. And as you can see here, I'm also adding paint to the glass before I actually fire it in the kiln. So you can deepen the glass painting layers, and you can add brush strokes to the scratch strokes to really create a variety of different mark making effects on the surface of the glass. By the way, if you like the content on my channel, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps us get this information out to as many creatives as possible. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.